Hi, my name is Alejandro Pérez Pérez, and this is the AI Coffee Podcast. Every week, we will have one episode regarding one disruptive aspect of technologies for the time to drink a cup of coffee. Today we have Rim Mazouzi, who is a friend of mine, and she knows a lot of things about engineering, politics, and feminism. She's going to provide us a really insightful conversation, I'm totally sure. And just before we start, I will present her. So he has a bachelor degree in informatic engineering in Universidad Politécnica de Madrid, and then a master in decision systems at University Rey Juan Carlos. Then she has a large experience as a developer in several projects in Capgemini, Appian, and BAS. And then she's also counselor at Chamberí neighborhood in Madrid Town Hall. For the ones living in Madrid, she is a vocal vecino in Chamberí, but for the others, it's part of the city council, just for giving you some context. So thank you, Rim, for being here. I have one question for opening the conversation. So how is it to combine a political position in Madrid Town Hall and also a position as a developer?
Hi, Alejandro. First of all, I want to thank you for the presentation and the invitations to your podcast. I really like it, and it's a pleasure to be here. So, about the question that you made to me, well, as you have said very well, I studied informatic engineering, and since I finished my degree, I have been developing with Appian, a BPM that is growing a lot in the world of applications. And shortly after finishing my degree, I decided to join to PSOE, and it's been more or less a year and a half since I'm coming in this position of developer and architect in the current project that I'm working on, with my position of vocal vecino or counselor of Chamberí, a district here in Madrid. So it's easy if you like both jobs and you don't mind spending days in a row without time for leisure or rest, since it requires commitment and daily dedication. But in the end, you notice that you take advantage of the day to day and that you do things that you like. And above all that, you contribute a lot in both places that you are working.
It sounds really insightful that you can combine these two positions because in general, politic people are focused on politics only, and the way you feel that you like both things and this combination, it feels really a key point for your future and also for the society in general. So thank you very much. So one question I would like to ask you is what is a developer for you? Because, well, you have already mentioned a couple of important points of your experience, but what is a developer for you? What makes a person a developer?
In my case, for example, we work with applications for final clients. I mean, right now I'm in Capgemini, but we work with final clients. And the objective is for the client to tell us what type of application they need and the functionalities that they want inside these applications. And we develop it through a computer program. In this case, we are working with Appian, such a way that we give them the product they need. So they tell us that they need, for example, an application for a user that is going to be at home and needs to tell us that they have a survey. They want to add a survey and send us. We are going to create them that program, that place that they can add all the information in the survey and send us. So this is what I'm doing right now.
Great. And is it easy or difficult, or how do you think it is?
This depends a lot of what they told you to do. Because, for example, we are working with Securitas Direct, that we know it here a lot in Spain, and they want, for example, to create a call center. And they want that the typical one person is calling to Securitas Direct and we give them that call and we retrieve all the information of the user that is calling us, and the operator of Securitas Direct retrieve all the information and work with that information. And at the same time, they are going to be in a call. So, for example, in this case, it's very difficult because you have a lot of external integrations. You are going to be in a call while you are speaking with the other users. So, yes, there is a lot of complexity in these functionalities, but everything is done.
And as I'm also a developer, it's not exactly the same kind of developer as you are, but I also feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, that it's also a creativity process because you create something from zero, let's say, because you create something real, let's say a database or an application, as you mentioned, for these call centers from code, from your hands and a computer. And for me, it's also a creativity process and maybe an art. There are people saying that it's a kind of art. I'm not sure about that, but it's like a creativity process, right?
Yes, of course. You need to think that you are going to have like a white paper. I don't know. Well, you need to create everything. I mean, the database, the structure of database. You need, for example, in my case that we are working with Appian, we need to create different types of objects because you have objects for the external integrations. You have another kind of projects for the interface, the site that you are going to see. Also, you have another types of objects for this part of call center. So finally, you need first to know exactly what you have with the tool that you are using. And at the same time, you need to create everything by zero. So you need to know the steps to build it.
Yeah, but it feels like you really like it. The way you are saying it feels like you are really motivated for that. So, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so also one question I have in mind is, do you think about women in politics, in engineering? Because I see around me in this developer world, in this technical world, that there are not so many women, and maybe it should be because it's the proportion, it's not balanced. There are much more men than women. Maybe it is changing little by little, but what do you think about that? Do you think that there is a kind of gender gap between men and women, or what do you think about that?
Well, I'm going to start in my main job, in which I think there is hardly any presence of women. And it's very difficult to be a woman and to be an engineer because from the moment that you start in this world, they see you as a freak that nobody understands why you have to like technology in this case. And many times they associate your achievements with, I don't know, either helping you or that we have facilities for being a woman, or when that is not true, or we work and study as the same that men. So we are capable of doing the same work, but there are still not as many women who serve as role models and who are trusted and leadership position as men do. So I think that we need to work a lot in this part of engineering. And in the case of politics, well, there are leading women. In my case, the problem is that there are no young women. When they see a young woman in politics, surprise them. They don't understand how someone young can like it. So we have to involve more the youth in politics.
I totally agree that it is a really important topic to have models to follow. So hopefully that you are here. And I guess that for the next generation, it's going to be also really important that women that you are doing this step forward and pronouncing and saying that you are here and good enough. Yes, of course. Okay, so Andrim, technically speaking, what is the hardest thing in your job that you need to handle with? And you can say what jobs.
Okay, well, I'm going to start in the engineering that you have to prove much more than men for them to value you. An example that happens to me at work when we are in meetings, many times when the meeting is over, the typical college that writes to you, Rim, if you want, I will tell you what was this quiz in case you miss something. First, I have been in the meeting like you. Second, if I have not found out something during the meeting, I ask it without any kind of problem. I have never been left with doubts. If I don't understand something, I ask about it in the meeting. So I don't need to you to make me, I don't know, a summary for it. So they need to know that if I am in the role that I am, in this case, I'm like an architect, technical lead, something like that in the project that I'm working on. So it's because of my knowledge and my work. So it's something that I'm still working on it, but I don't like to feel like that. In the case of politics, it's more or less similar. I mean, they sometimes think that you are there because it's necessary to be one person, one young people in that place, and they are thinking that well, you are there because someone helped you to be there, no because of your work or because of your knowledge. So we need like to prove more that I have everything that I need to have to be in that place. And I can do it the same that one person that has, for example, 60 years old. So it's very difficult because you need to prove it day a day. And well, it's what we have right now.
Yes, amazing. And the thing you tell me that you have someone in a meeting saying you, if you want to me to explain you something or something like that, it never happened to me, for example. So that's a proof like sexism, it's still here. And the world is changing, but still there are like a lot of things to be done. So how would you change that? I mean, if you, for example, now have a magical power to, for example, transform mentalities or mindsets or whatever, how would you do?
Well, I think that we need to start at school. I mean, you need to see more references, not only men references, only women references. You need to see that both of us, we make the same. I mean, we can both create a computer application or we can both clean at home, or I mean, everything that is the same for one and the other one. And if we start in the education, I think that the rest is going to be at the same line, but we need to start in the basic way. That's it, the education in this case. I think so.
Yes, I assume that this is changing because, for example, recently it was Christmas time. And for example, during this period, you have a lot of TV advertisements with toys and things like that. And I have seen, like, it's not the case as maybe when we were children that we had toys for women, toys for men. I think this is changing little by little, for example. And even these small things are really important that now you see, for example, women playing football or men children Barbies, for example. And it's not a problem because all of them are toys. And I remember when I was a child, like I was visiting my girl cousins. And I remember that when I was visiting them at their homes, I was playing with their toys because they were totally new for me. And they were really, I don't know, they were attractive for me because I wasn't used to these kind of toys. And it was the same for them when they came to my house, for example, and I had boys' toys. They were playing with them because they were really surprising because it was new for them. And yeah, it's for me, it's something that it has changed a lot already in, I don't know, 20 years. And I assume that it's going to change even more in the future. But wow, it feels really strong words what you say about education. Of course, it's important. But also in, let's say, company world, because we can change maybe education easier because it's like the future and it's easier. But I guess that it's not enough because there are women as you working already. And I mean, people who you are working with are not going to come back to a school. So how would you change that situation maybe? Is there a possibility to change?
Yes, of course. First of all, we need to see the same work that the women made and the men. I mean, we don't need to prove more than other ones. Also, we need more models in some roles. For example, in this case, like an architect, I'm the only one. The rest are all men. And also, we need more models to, I don't know, like if you need to do something, interested to say a women, okay, try to do it. Not only go to the same people because you know that they are going to do it. No, okay, go to another person and give them the opportunity, because in my case it's the same. I mean, I started in the beginning without a lot of professionality, without a lot of knowledge, and you need to work a lot, you need to learn a lot to can be in the place that you are right now. And for it you need opportunities. I mean, at work you need opportunities to can be the leader of a project. You need the opportunity to can be the architect, they create all the structure of the project. And if you don't have this opportunity like the other partners, or yes, people that are working in your projects, you are not going to be the best or to show the rest that you can do it. So I think that we need more opportunities.
Yes. So people hearing this, more opportunities are needed and also education. Yes, that's the conclusion, let's say.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about AI because this podcast is focused on AI and technology. And we have talked a lot about engineering and data and solutions, technical solutions. But what about AI? Do you think the future for politics, engineering is maybe related to AI? And I guess that you're going to say yes. But how? Maybe how is going to be linked to the future? And maybe bias, as you mentioned, that society has, is something that maybe AI is going to change somehow, or is there a possibility to change the world to become a better world with AI? What do you think about that?
Well, in recent times, there has been a great advantage in AI applications, but I think that is only the beginning. I mean, that our day to day will be affected by technology, and this type of technology will be used more and more. And it's something that the sooner we accept it, the better for everyone. We have to be aware that these changes will improve our lives. In the case of politics, yes, of course, they need to adapt to these changes, to this new technology or everything that we have new. And if they work with that, I think that they are going to work better than before. In the case of the engineering, for example, in my case, I see that every day we have something new. We need every day to have a lot of learnings, to have a lot of formation because there is changing everything. We are at the beginning, so we need to adapt what we have. We need to change everything that we have right now. So yes, the future of AI application is going to be very important, and I think that is going to impact not only in politics, in engineering, is impacting right now, for example, in education too, in sanitary things. I mean, it's going to impact in everything that we do day to day.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you that it is impacting already. And the point is like, it is going to impact like everything, even if we are not prepared. So the best scenario is to be prepared and to get adapted to this new technology that is coming. And also something I want to say during these podcasts I am doing, and the purpose of the AI Coffee podcast is like, AI is not going to come through robots that have bodies like ours and they are going to replace us like doing everything. I think it's not going to be the case, or at least soon, but it is already happening in some fields, like you mentioned, for example, in health field, like we are seeing more and more custom treatments to people because of AI. And that's a really important thing for me, also, for example, to avoid the discrimination for women, because there is something we have already talked, I assume, a couple of times. Like there are some treatments that are much more tested in men than women. So maybe the behavior in women is not really good tested. So, for example, I don't know, COVID vaccines and things like that, they're like much more secondary effects in women than men sometimes. And it's, it's a complex world. So I think AI would bring us maybe better solutions for the future that in the past it wasn't even possible to imagine. So yes, they are really important. And I don't know if you have something else to say to finish the episode about what we have said or whatever you want to say.
No, again, thank you very much to invite me to this podcast. Only say that we need to continue working in the way of be like a model to the rest of people. I mean, we need more women in this case, in politics, in engineering, and well, in technology. I think so. So if you want to do something, don't be scared. I mean, you need to try it, you need to work for it, and this is my my conclusion. So thank you very much, Alejandro.
Thank you. So before you go, I always ask two questions to guests here. So the first one is, how do you like coffee?
I prefer tea, but when I have no choice, hazelnut coffee.
Okay, that's hard to know. Huh? You might have said before, because that's not the AI tea podcast. It's the AI coffee podcast. But yeah, no, it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. At least you like a kind of coffee. Yeah, that's important. And also, how can the audience contact you?
Well, they can contact me by email or Twitter or Instagram. That in both I am rim_mf. So
Okay.
they can contact there.
Okay. Anyway, I will put all of the links in the notes of the episode, so you don't need to go directly now when you are hearing this through Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. You can go after if you want to. and meet Rim, who you have might seen that it's a really important person, and she has a lot of things to say now in the present and in the future. So thank you very much, Rim, for being here.
Thank you, Alejandro. See you soon.
See you. Bye-bye. Thanks for being here one more week. If you liked it, please subscribe to the podcast and to the newsletter in alejandroperezperez.com. Please share both with your friends and relatives, and don't forget to give me 5 stars in Apple Podcast and Spotify. See you next week. Bye bye.